So this is a more, I guess,
Relax.
relaxed episode. We're eating ramen. We went on live, and we're going to get into why we went on live, but we went on live. We made ramen. We made guacamole. Clean that! Thank God that did not splatter everywhere.
There's guac on the chair too.
Well,
Man, I just dropped the bowl of guacamole.
we got that on video too.
I'm dead. That's so funny.
Me trying to describe what we did this episode.
Mano's now on his hands and knees.
What's it? Okay, am I missing anything? Do you see any spots that I missed? Oh,
I'm kidding. But
sorry. So we made guacamole. Yeah, I'm so sorry for doing that. Next time I'll hold it with two hands, and I'll show. Guacamole. Sorry for the people listening in.
yeah, I'm sorry for that scream. I reacted, like I flinched, but I just watched it happen too, because I was like, if it's done, it's done. If it's done, it's done.
One moment was my hand, the next was flying out.
Oh my goodness.
The guac was saved though. The guac is safe. But
Move your necklace just because it's sitting on your mic. Yeah. He just tossed it behind his neck, like so nonchalantly. Okay.
Sorry. So today, why I'm excited is because this past week, Ashley went to a social media event that originally I wanted to go with her to, but I had a conflicting appointment, so I didn't end up going. But Ashley still went, and Ashley learned a fuck ton around social media and personal branding is what I gathered. So
yeah, so it basically, I found this event on Eventbrite, and I didn't know what to expect. I'd searched up their social medias. Everything seemed good. I was like, okay, cool. If Mano doesn't, the stove is still on.
now it's not.
Oh my goodness. But I was like, even if Mano doesn't come with me, I'm going to get my ass out of the house. I'm going to go do something different because I haven't gone to a seminar like this in a while. And alongside the stuff that we're doing in terms of the podcast and my lash business and Mano's startup and his food blog, I'm also doing social media for my dad's company. And so I was like, I just have to go to this.
Yeah.
And I waited until the night before to buy my ticket. I don't know. Something in me, I was like, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? But something in me was just telling me, just do it. Just do it. And so I go. It's a super cute, super intimate little like seminar. And mostly ladies too. Okay. Vibes were just immaculate right off the bat. And so it was basically this one lady who she's a realtor in Ontario, and then another lady who is from Guatemala, and she grew her Instagram to over 330K. She went through some personal challenges in terms of working too much and it taking a toll on her body, because we all know stress destroys your body if you don't manage it properly. And like same thing, stress, trauma, everything. Your body, most diseases are caused through life experiences and trauma and stress. And so she explained her story, and then she explained how her starting to take care of herself ended up with her getting fired from her job. Okay.
Wow.
But in her starting to take care of herself, she started taking more classes. Like she was taking yoga, Pilates. She started, not right now, it's okay. I'm talking. She's trying to feed me guac. She started learning like face yoga, lymphatic drainage, all of that stuff. Okay. And so she had been going to these courses and everything. She got fired, and she was like, oh my goodness, how about I just keep doing what I love and start making courses on it, since she had become so knowledgeable in terms of it.
Yeah.
And I just found guac on the blanket. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's just a little piece. Man, no, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so she started making videos of like her doing her treatments on herself. She started doing it for other people as well.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of her social media journey, which, because she was making content so often, and because she was going on live, and because she essentially started looking at that as her, like her social media turned into her company versus just her social media, she was able to grow that. And like that was all completely in Spanish too, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so now she started growing a following in English as well, but like totally once she started doing what she loved and she had a passion for and she was able to fully be herself, she started just flourishing and she's able to pursue what she loves now.
Wow. I didn't know that part about the her. Well, I knew like she came from that region, but I didn't know the story of her getting let go and then
Yeah.
everything unfolding after that, and then her taking those courses and being let go because she was spending time doing that. I don't
Yeah,
know if
because
that's the reason, but
no. So basically, she usually worked like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mind you, she has two kids.
oh
Too.
wow.
Yeah, so she's got
How
two baby
old?
girls. One is 18 now. I don't know how old the other one was, but she was basically acting as like a single mom at the time too. So
Wow.
she had all this shit she was dealing with. She started leaving work at 6 p.m. rather than 8 p.m. And then that's when people started saying like, "Oh, she's leaving early," da da da, da, which essentially got her fired. Yeah, but
Wow.
that was because she developed a condition that like she had to take care of herself in order to continue functioning and to continue being able to take care of not only herself but her kids, right?
Also 8 p.m. though, like
It's a full 12-hour day.
that. Yeah, like what? That's crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
especially if she has two kids. Who's taking care of the kids? A single mom that has
Yeah.
to take care of, that has to also take care of two kids.
Yeah.
Leaving at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm in bed by that time.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, legit. And that's why I'm like, I mean, props to her because the fact that she got fired and then continued on her passion, even though she knew she had to sustain two kids.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's an
how
amazing.
did she do that?
I was like almost in tears when I was listening to her talk about it too, because I just
Yeah.
think about my parents and how hard they work, and
Mm-hmm.
like my dad had a heart attack when I was in grade 11, right? And at that time, well, his whole life he had basically like spent working morning to night, morning to night.
Yeah.
Like I have told this story before, but like people asked my mom if my dad was doing drugs because he was always so energetic and always so hype, but it's just he was thriving off the passion of that. But I think he also had some other things in his past that kind of like affected him deeply, and so that's why essentially his body ended up like taking that toll. But even I was telling one of the guys on our team the other day, like even when my dad had his heart attack, I remember being in the hospital with him, and I was like, what do you want me to tell your clients, right? Because I had his phone. He was in the hospital bed, like, and it was, oh my God, it was so upsetting. I remember when my uncle passed away when I was 8 or 9, and I went to go visit him in the hospital before he passed away. And he, like, his liver basically imploded.
Oh my God.
Because he was an alcoholic. And so when I went to go see him, I just remember his skin being like bright yellow and like he looked so like brittle and just whatever. And so when I like was not taking care of my dad, but going to see him in the hospital after his heart attack, he like looked the same as my uncle and it was so fucking scary, like so scary. But I asked him, I said, what do you want me to tell your clients? And he was like, just tell them I have a chest injury and I'll talk to them tomorrow. I'm like, brother, you just had a heart attack. I'm not telling them that you had a chest injury. Your heart just stopped. You have to go in for surgery. But it just shows you that when you really love something, you have passion for something, you will stop at nothing to make sure that you're doing that, right?
And that's so entrepreneurial too, because an entrepreneur will stop at nothing to make their vision come true. And like, just that's an example, right? Like your dad, although going through like a heart attack, and I'm sorry that you went through all those different things, right? Because that's traumatizing.
It's life. Right?
It is life, but it's still, you know, something that it makes you rethink, like reevaluate your values and be like, wow, this is like a life can be gone like that, right? And like, it just makes you value people more too.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see this person again, so like, might as well. Like, that's, and then, you know, that actually makes so much sense because you end off every conversation with, I love you. Because that's the last thing you want people to tell people in case you don't see them again. Like, that is a really sweet backstory to how you started saying that, right? So, I mean, especially just, I feel like entrepreneurs generally have that willpower to succeed no matter what.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see that with, what was her name?
Carolina. I don't know if I want to put, like, it's her story to tell, right?
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I think it's a very inspiring story.
Not her last name, just like her first name. Just so I can refer to her like Carolina, yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina. So like Carolina and your dad both had that drive, and your mom also too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously something sparked in her.
Well, and also when there's kids involved too, right? Like, it's a completely different story. Like, you're not just taking care of yourself. You have other people that are like yours to completely take care of. And they're like your offspring, right? Like, they're little yous. So.
That's the scary thing though, because then they're relying on you. If you don't pull through, then they are going to be the ones suffering.
Yeah. And especially as kids too, when our parents don't pull through, I feel like it's harder to understand that they're not pulling through. But then as you get older, then you start to...
You can reflect and see like, wow, this is what my parents went through.
Yeah.
And then you start to value what they did for you so much more.
Yeah. This conversation really went from social media to life trauma.
No, we'll take it back into this direction because I really am interested in what you learned. Because I remember Ashley came out of this event. She called me immediately. And she was buzzing.
The emotions were so high in there, right? Because we had like the little masterclass part.
Yes.
She actually had her daughter speak as well because her daughter's grown her social media as well.
Oh,
and so nice. Her daughter mainly talked about how you present yourself, like branding, like using a proper color palette, choosing an aesthetic. Like when I talk about you and I posting reels, we need to be able to find photos that match both of our aesthetics that we can use as a cover photo. So when we post it,
it doesn't look out of place.
Yeah, like we should have done that with the one today, but...
I mean, you can change the cover after the fact.
Really?
Yeah, you can go back and change the cover, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so aesthetics, all of that, having a hook was one of the things she talked about too. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be a hook, but the first 0.5 seconds of your video is so important.
Because that's what captures attention. Like,
and that's why today we started filming some
promo content, I guess you could call it.
Some of those, yeah, but we were just what's the word? We were doing like a karma series. And that's why at the beginning of it I was like, it's karma, baby. Like, we need to have something that people are like, oh, okay, they're talking about karma.
They're talking about,
right?
exactly.
Because if we start off saying like the fourth law of karma, it just doesn't sound as enticing as karma, baby.
It's karma, baby. Yeah. Exactly. And like, I think one of the big factors in content creation, because we both are in content creation like very heavily, like that's pretty much our whole lives, both our lives at this point. The hook is probably, the hook and the cover are the two most important things. And I'd say cover more so like thumbnail for YouTube is the most important. But for Instagram or in TikTok or whatever, it's literally the first 3 seconds of the video are the most dire. Like, you need to do the most. And on YouTube, it's the same, except not 3 seconds. On YouTube, I think it's like 20 or 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds of the video are the most important on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the first 30 seconds down and like really enticing, people are going to just click off. And that's the thing, right? And I know that because I've talked to a few YouTubers, but getting back to what you learned, because I'm actually trying to get into some of the specifics, because I remember you said there was a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And one of the things we actually did today, just like before filming this, and I just want to like get more insight into kind of like what were your big 3 takeaways from what you learned from this event?
Honestly, there was so much to take away from it. Again, from the masterclass to hearing her daughter speak to sitting down and going through questions that they gave us in a booklet to also just like sharing with other people. There was a lot to take from it. One of the things that did catch my attention though was, she told us 3 C's and one of them is community. And in order to build that community, one of the things you need to do is to go live regularly and to be interacting, not only just go live, but interacting with people, right? And posting stuff that people can relate to, right? That's more personable and authentic. So telling stories, one of the biggest ones, like, I don't know, maybe when we went live before, we should have done a little bit more storytelling.
Yeah.
but we're going to learn as we go, right? But yeah, go live regularly. And I told my mom to do that, and I told my dad to do that, and neither of them have done it yet. But it's very important, especially for somebody who's creating content and who has like business values that they're able to present through social media, to actually be able to have those conversations, ask people questions. That's another thing. Always ask people questions, because that's what
Like
gets,
what?
well, dependent. It depends on what you're doing, right?
So like in a so like for example, if someone jumps into a live stream, ask the person hosting live stream a question, or like ask them their comments.
No, if
like,
you are if you're the one running the live, say you're running a live on one click, okay, somebody hops on. Jimmy, what do you use to edit your videos? Why do you use that? Right? Like, just start asking them questions, because that'll first keep them on the live. Second, they'll be like, they feel important, not just do it to feel important, but they feel important, right? And it also just, it helps you get to know the people that might be following you or who are interested in your content.
I really like that, because like when you're talking about community, there's a huge push. Whenever you talk about marketing to a marketer, it's always like, we need to build our community. We need to build our community.
Yeah.
And people don't know how. They say, okay, let's go on Facebook. Let's go on Reddit. Let's go on all these other platforms. But going live is always an external thing. It's like, we'll go live like later, right? So putting it in that perspective, I guess it would be like, if it's on your business account too, it's even less of like a quote unquote risk. I wouldn't even say a risk. Like, it's also a mental hurdle to do it on a business account, because you're like, oh, it's my business account, whatever.
Yeah, we went on personal.
We don't on personal, but what would you say? Because like, also, I mean, I'm assuming during this event they talked about personal brand, right? Yeah. So, did they say anything specifically around posting more on your personal brand versus on your business account, or
put it together?
So everything in one.
That's the thing, is when you post on Instagram or anything, like branded stuff, business stuff, guess what, like 100 likes maybe. You post a photo with your significant other or your friends, you're getting like 600 likes. So if you can keep the two together, do it, right? And again, your social media is your company, whether it's your personal or not. And people like personal. People like being personable. They want to know that there's a face behind the business. So if you can keep the two together, do it. Like, if it's your company, keep them together.
Okay.
Which totally changes my mind about stuff, because I used to think my dad needed a personal account for himself. No, he just needs to start posting more personal stuff.
Exactly. Well, because people want to know. They don't want to know, the Tony Robb, like they want to know like his family life. They want to know, he's playing with his kids.
Yeah, like, oh, you have a dog too?
You have a dog.
Oh my God, your dog looks like mine, right?
Exactly.
Or, oh, you feed your dog the same way that I do?
Yeah.
Like, you spit your food into your dog's mouth? No, I'm kidding.
Okay. No.
Calling Pete out on
that. Yeah. But one thing I want to ask you, actually, because obviously you got
this is like an interview, shawty.
No, this is honestly, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, for like also have it recorded too, so like we can look back on this if we ever need it. But also, just a lot of people have this objection in their head, being like, I can't post because I don't want to get stuck in a niche. And then when you say, but you are the niche, you should be the niche, right? Everything that you do should be the niche. It's just whatever. They say, yeah, but I don't know where to start. Like, did they specify anything, or do you have any thoughts on that specifically?
I feel like you need to reword that question a little bit.
Okay. I would say,
because I could give you so many different angles of answers to that.
I would say if someone wanted to start producing content, they have not produced any content yet, they don't know what to create, so like they don't know what they want to create, they have a passion, they have multiple passions for different things, but they want to start posting.
Look at people who have posted content similar to what you want to post before. Don't just look at one, look at multiple, look at patterns. But then after you sit and you look at that, ask yourself questions. Okay, what colors do I want to stick to? What do I want my aesthetic to be? What are themes I can talk about? What are videos I can make? What values do I want my business to present? What do I want people to see? What is my like, what do I want my customers to look like and be like, and why do my customers want me? Ask yourself questions like that, because then you'll kind of get an understanding of what you really want your company, your Instagram, your social media, whatever, to physically look like. And when you ask yourself those questions, ideas are going to start coming. And I don't know, when I sat there and I asked myself questions like that, I kind of like just felt everything mesh together.
Yeah.
Right.
So everything kind of became clear.
Yeah.
It became clear after.
Because if you, again, like if you don't ask other people questions, then you're not going to have an understanding of them. If you don't ask yourself questions, you're not going to have an understanding of you.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So it's just all about asking questions, asking the right questions to the right people.
Yeah.
And also just using questions as a way of engagement.
Yeah. Well, and ask, like, again, directed towards the question that you asked.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Asking those questions so you can find the deeper purpose of what you're going to be putting out there.
Nice. Okay.
And so you can be intentional with it too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking about that. Like, I like that answer because it's not like you're giving something specific, like general to everyone, but you're saying like go find someone who's doing what you already want to do.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
even
kind
for
of-
one click.
Yeah.
What do you want your customers to look like and be like? And then why do your customers choose you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
What
That
brought
kind of gives you the vision of what you want to put on your social media, because you want to be that company or that person that they want. And the reason why they come to you is because blank.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you also do that for like all your other social media accounts, right? Like it works well for especially the other ones you run. I won't say, I won't say unless like that's private. But other than in terms of guys that like, is there anything else that stood out to you during it where like any other tips? Because I remember on the phone you were like spewing a bunch of different
She really,
things.
one thing she really pushed is energy, right? And the energy that you put out there is the energy that you're going to receive back. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Live in the light. Do things that you love doing, because once you start to do those things and put that stuff out there, whether it's like, obviously push yourself out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? But when you're putting that energy out there, you're going to attract the people that you are kind of like yearning for, right? So,
So put the right energy out to attract the people that you want.
yeah, like even, and this made me emotional when she told me, but I put my hand up and I told them, I kind of shared how I ended up going there and like how happy I was that I ended up going, because first of all, she was super about energy, manifestation, all of that. But then the other girl was into real estate. And so it was a good counterbalance between like things that I'm interested in. And it was just a fluke that I decided to go. And she told me after, she was like, well, or the one that was the realtor, she basically said, well, I tried to push Carolina to advertise it and everything. And she said, nope, whoever's meant to come will end up coming. The universe will do the work itself. Trust me.
Yeah.
And so when she said that, I was like, this bitch channeled me.
Yeah.
Like she channeled me.
She knew, and like all those other girls that were there, all the other people that were there.
It was such
Did they know them, or did they? Were those
Some of
all
them did.
people?
Some of them
Okay.
did, because the one who was hosting it, like
Yeah.
she has a group of people that she'll like post events and everything too. So some of them had been to her events before, but I wasn't the only new person there. So yeah, it was a really good environment.
So also what that tells me is Eventbrite is a good place to market events.
Yeah. And now I'm in a one of her channels too, so she'll post events if
my God.
we ever want to go to one again.
And where does she usually do those? Like, is there a specific place? Is it on Instagram? Is it like?
No, just around. Like I think mostly like they'll be posted on Eventbrite, but she posts them in her channel that I'm now in.
Is it, like is there a platform for the channel, or is it just she
It's
puts
on
it?
Instagram.
Oh, it's on. Okay, she has a
yeah,
channel
yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram. Okay. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Like one of those broadcast channel things that they
Yeah.
can. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Everyone has a channel nowadays. We need a channel.
I tried to make one. It doesn't let me make one. Like I've tried to make one so
Are
many
you
times.
private?
No, I'm public. I literally would go and I'd be like, why can't I make a channel?
Let's make one on embodiment.
Can we even do that? Is there even an option for us?
Probably.
Every time I go on any account, I try to like make a channel and there's no option for it. I guess we'll check.
Let me see right now.
Maybe my Instagram's just a little messy.
Okay. Let's check it. Do you have any social media tips?
Oh, I mean, I could go on for days about social media and like just content creation generally, just because like that's everything I do, and like everyone I talk to is a content creator for the most part in the business. Like it's just always figuring out what their needs are, and like one of the biggest things is a lot of creators have trouble figuring out where to start.
Yeah.
Like that's a big barrier. It's like, where do I start? What content do I create? Like I've created a video. Okay, what's next? Like what do I create next? And so that it's like that idea block that slows people down. And I'd say the best way to combat that is use tools that you have access to, like ChatGPT, right? Even though ChatGPT doesn't have the best content ideas, it can give you a baseline of like a direction to go in, and then you can get deeper. But like that's a free tool that you can use, right? To help explode your content, like give you some type of direction. There's also customer personas. This is a big one. ChatGPT, what's amazing about it is it can create very, very in-depth customer personas or ICPs that you can literally go and use those to mold your content around. And all you have to do is just, there's like some custom GPTs where like the ones people make themselves to specialize to do these things. And you can go in and it will ask you a question like, hey, so give me these following pieces of information. I'll make you an customer persona. You give it and it spits out like the best customer persona, the most detailed, like their beliefs, their challenges, their needs, their wants, where they frequent, like
That's crazy.
everything. And you can
crazy.
use that persona to like fuel everything you do and be like, hey, I'm talking to this person. And if you want to go big, you got to niche down. There's a saying that it's like niche to go big or something, like, because eventually when you niche down and get really specific on who you're talking to, the niche starts to fade as you grow and you start to grow really fast. Like if you want to grow fast, you have to niche down, essentially.
I can't find it. But no, you're right, because the more specific you are about things, the more that you're going to be able to find that actual audience that you want to be in front of, right? Again, like talking about, ask yourself the question of what your like average customer you want them to look like, and then you'll understand who you want to try and actually attract.
Like give them a name, give them an age, a job, like make them most specific. Like they are your friend. Like act like this invisible pretend person is literally one of your friends from real life. They've told you their deepest, darkest secrets, their biggest fears, like everything about that person. And then you use that information to help you tailor your message. Because once you realize who you're speaking to and you realize the language that they speak in, you can make content tailored to them that's going to resonate with them, which is going to increase the amount of followers you have.
Yeah.
Because you're resonating with those people with that message, with your message. And they feel like you know them personally.
Oh, are we a creator account? You have to be a creator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I created all mine personal.
We are a business account? Question mark.
Are we a business account? I thought we were.
I don't know.
Creator.
We're a podcast creator. I am a podcast.
You are a podcast.
Instagram. I don't like you.
So it's not letting you create one either?
No, we'll do that. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, but
We can make, we'll make a channel on our actual accounts, and then
no, I try. I don't know if I have the access to that.
we'll figure it out.
We'll
Everything
figure it out
works
on
out.
Instagram.
Everything works out.
Everything works out. We'll figure it out. We'll see after this. After this, we'll check it out and be like, hey, can we actually create a channel? And if we do, you guys can join it and you guys can get inspo. Daily.
So last thing is that I want to talk about from that was surround yourself with what you want to create.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think when I say that?
Well, I'm assuming like, say for on YouTube, if you want to create a specific type of content, subscribe to other people who make that type of content so you can put yourself in the mindset of someone who creates that kind of content. That's kind of what comes to mind. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, well, that, and also like kind of the saying, surround yourself, or you are who you surround yourself with. So your big five is so important. So when you want to get better with these things and be more productive in posting and everything, like it's nice to have people around you who are doing the same thing. Like you and I today, when we posted that thing, we clicked accept at the same time for our collaborative post. And like it was honestly really nerve-wracking to post that on my personal account.
Yeah.
So having people around you, going to those events, right? Like we need to go to seminars more often. Like it was just so enlightening. $50 for the ticket. It wasn't bad at all. And I learned a lot, and I was able to share and just connect with people. And that is just like networking period is so important, but networking around the right people is fucking amazing.
And that's the biggest thing. Like sometimes I go on Eventbrite and I just look at stuff just to look, and I'm like, should I go to that? Maybe not. Like you procrastinate, but like I think it's so useful to, like, as you did, like go to those events and meet those people, because even if you're alone, like they're probably going alone too. Like not everyone's going with someone.
And it was like intimate events like that too, where you actually have the chance to sit as a group and talk about things. It's like show and tell when you're a kid. You know what I mean? So did you guys have specific times during that event where it was free time to talk to each other? Like, well, like we sat down and she gave us a booklet and we filled that out. So obviously some people finished first, whatever. There wasn't like, oh, you guys can't talk.
Yeah.
But she did present at one point. That was like the actual masterclass part of it. And then after that, it was kind of free flowing. She was walking around the table checking in on all of us, and yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, so then I guess from the event, like, what would you say is a good way to determine what a good event to go to is versus what, like, what's...
I just think when you go and you look at Eventbrite or places like that, double check the host's social media, because that's what I did first. And I think it's not necessarily a bad event or a good event. You're going to learn something at either one. If you go to one and you're like, I don't want to go to their events anymore, totally fine. Right? But just putting yourself out there more often than not is so important.
Well, anyways, you're building, like, you've met, like, it was like 20-ish people that were there?
Yeah.
And you met all of them. Like, now all of them are part of your connections because you put yourself out there.
I just spilled this.
We're spilling a lot today. I spilled the guac at the beginning. I also spilled some guac on her shirt. Wait, no, I spilled some ramen on your shirt.